Welcome back. So I just finished going over what cleaning in general is, how all of this works together, your heat, your chemistry, agitation, rinse, and extraction. Now I'm actually going to show you and kind of hopefully illustrate my point. I did a couple experiments over here at the shop, but basically I'll start this way. So I literally just finished creating this with a whiteboard marker. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead, just with my bare towel, nothing fancy, nothing special. I'm gonna go ahead and erase all of this. All right, so why was that important? Because I just wanted to share with you what time does. In order to remove a whiteboard marker off of a whiteboard, it's literally just a towel. But I just finished writing it, so it was easy to just go ahead and erase. But what happens to a whiteboard that's had a marker on there for quite a while? Well, luckily, I have another whiteboard over there that we used in the past, and that's been on there for about 3 years. I already sampled and tested it out. Let me show you what I found to help illustrate that whole quadrant thing, sidebar time. All right, let's go that way. Okay, so now I'm in front of a whiteboard on something that we wrote about 3 years ago or so. So this has been on there for 3 years. So over there, just on the other whiteboard, I just finished marking, I just wiped off. Now we're gonna come over here to this side that hasn't been touched in years. First thing I wanna do is just kind of mess with my hands. Okay, that's not gonna do it. So you always want to start least invasive first, right? So try with water. If water doesn't work, try with a neutral cleaner. So basically, there's no need to go any stronger than you need to. Just successively increase your steps. So now when you think of the quadrant, right, it's heat, chemistry, agitation, rinse and extraction, right? So in this particular case, I'm void of heat because this isn't something that I'm going to rinse or extract or throw a whole bunch of hot water on. But I guess I could totally use, if I was going to start with water, I could start with hot water. So that's a form of mixing the heat with the chemistry, which would be water, with the agitation, which would be the towel. So that part, I'm not going to go through all that because I already know that the neutral cleaner is not going to do very much, but I'll show you right now. So that's how you begin to formulate what you're working on with what the options are. So for example, right over here, we have our neutral cleaner. This stuff is amazing. Basically, it gives you different levels of cleanability while reaching a peak that won't remove sealer. And that's what the trick is. If whatever you got going on doesn't come off with this, then it requires a deep cleaner, in which case then begin to evaluate what surface you're doing it on to see if it's something that needs to be resealed and how could it affect the coating or the topical or the penetrator. So anyways, all right, so that's something else. Okay, so as far as this goes right here, use a neutral cleaner, great product. Doesn't matter what I spray it on, it's safe on everything. So, but start off least invasive. So right now, I just used it as is. Got my towel. It's not dirty whatsoever. It's really not transferring very much. And I am being aggressive, right? So now this brings a case of agitation. Will a stronger agitation work, right? So I want to do different examples here. So signing is what I was just working on right now. Let's do way up here. So this way we kind of have a constant going on over here. And you see that didn't do very much either. So I got way, signing, let's do pictures. So we can kind of do different testings, right, on different areas so you can see how it affects it. And then let's do this whole little corner, this little piece right there. See, this one started to lighten up just a little bit with that agitation, but I increased agitation. I didn't change chemistry, and I didn't change my extraction method, because that's what a towel is. It absorbs, so it's also playing a role of extraction. All right, so we saw what neutral cleaner didn't do. So now the question is, we can increase agitation or we can increase chemistry. So general rule of thumb, keeping up with least invasive first, then from water to neutral cleaner, from neutral cleaner, before you go any stronger, on a difference on product or strength of product, maybe increase agitation. So in this case, we have a whiteboard. Now you have different options of agitating, right? So this would be something that if you're looking for something comparable to what you were just doing, with a towel, well, then you need like a pad, right? You wouldn't use a brush on this, because a brush is more for soil on grout or floors or things like that. In this case, what you want is you want that friction, you want that heat. So now what other options do you have? So a great option could be like your non-scratch side of a dishwashing soap. That's not going to scratch this, or at least it shouldn't. And again, always do a quick little spot check in the corner, make sure it doesn't do anything before you proceed with it. But something like that is what you need. So in this case, what I have prepared is, well, we have two different kinds of pads. So you've probably seen these pads on the bottom of floor machines. Well, one is basically a red pad, which we know it's like medium to tough scrubbing, but it won't scratch anything. Then you got the black pad over here, and this one right here will scuff and will scratch depending on what it is that you're trying to agitate, right? And then from here, there's another pad that's even rougher, and then you kind of start beginning to go into like sandpaper and stuff. But this is a very rough pad. This isn't so rough. So now the question is surface. So we're on a whiteboard. This will scratch it, this will not. If you're not sure, go to a corner, and then you'll be able to see that it left a little bit of a shaving off right there. You can't really tell unless you're kind of looking for it, but it did. So that would rule this one out and then only bring us to here. So basically what we just did is we just capped on the level of aggressiveness that we can go based on the material. Apply that to anything: slate, limestone, bluestone, marble, onyx, indoor, outdoor, vertical, ceilings of showers, whatever the case is, right? That's when you go ahead and you begin to evaluate where you can raise and where you cannot. So now at this point, we'll stick with the neutral cleaner, all right? I don't got to worry about chemical or solution or whatnot. This is fine to make contact with my hands. So I come over here, we'll go with signing, and then look at that. Just by increasing a little bit of agitation, now we come with extraction. Wipe that off. We'll see what's left. Now what happens is detail work. So now you just come back, touch it up, but now I'm giving it a little bit more pressure to kind of get the same result, but I'm not doing it in a way where it's going to scratch the whiteboard. All right, so that was a lot of effort. Now, this is the part that's also important to apply to your project. You're like, okay, great. You showed me how to take care of my problem, except my problem is 1,000 square feet. You just go back to how you're applying the product. Right now, I'm applying it through a sprayer, hand sprayer. Then it's how do you apply the product? How do you agitate it to get that first piece off? And then how do you come back to it to detail it? But the process is the same. You're just changing it from a towel to what will absorb it at a larger rate. So that's an example right there. So what I just showed you is a way to keep chemical down, increase agitation without damaging the surface that it's on. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change some of the other quadrants. And I don't remember if I mentioned it, but time here was like 3 years. So that's where time played a huge factor over there. I didn't need any of this. Now time played a factor. Now we're trying to figure out with what. All right, so we increased agitation. We figured out where it was. We saw the final result. We understand the amount of steps. Okay, let's say you don't have time and you want to expedite the process, right? In which case, I'm just gonna go straight black pad. Then let's just say, let's skip chemistry, let's skip heat, and let's just go downright agitation. Then at this point, it's, do your small sample in an inconspicuous area, but basically what you're saying is, I prefer to have whatever scuffs come from using this device because I can get it done faster and whatever it is, it is. Again, it all boils back down to you and your needs and what your project is. What do you got going on? I don't know, but here are your options. So just cut straight to this one if it doesn't matter how it ends up being. So let's just say right here, I go. Whew. That was a lot of effort and strong agitation to get to that. And there's still a little left, but you could just hear me scratching it, right? Well, let's say this is a situation where you have a terrazzo floor. Well, a terrazzo floor is all concrete. You can go straight to agitation because oftentimes it needs to be refinished anyway. You see what I'm saying? So then that you begin to understand what the steps are, at which point is arrive, clean up whatever topical debris is on there, and get to grinding. You just go straight to agitation. And then from there, once you get to the established point that you want to get to, whatever grit level it is that you want to get to, depending on sheen or lack of or whatnot that you want as a final result. But at that point, it's when you can revert right back to the deep cleaner, neutral cleaner, sealer scenario because you end up there anyways. It's, do you need it in the beginning? And in this case, you didn't. And you notice that this was a letter, the BY, that wasn't even something that we had already neutral cleaned to keep it the same. So I don't know if it's going to be a different result, but whew, that's a lot of effort, guys. And it's sanding it down. So in my opinion, that's where it's, no, I'm not going to go any rougher. Now, the whole rough on the agitation side could be either agitators, scrubbers, brushes, steel, type brushes, machine scrubbing, whatever that situation is, or it could also be through pressure. And the reason why I say that is because let's just say that your project now is an outdoor slate. Now you would think that an outdoor slate would be like super hard, right? But the problem is that if you go with a power washer and you go past like a 2,000, 2,500, depending on the angle and how you cut it, but you're gonna end up creating texture in it. You're gonna end up chipping a piece off. You're gonna end up creating damage when you go past a certain level. So that's a scenario where you would want, a good amount of pressure, but with heat and chemical backing you up. So anyway, so back to this scenario over here. Okay, so we just saw what it was that a neutral cleaner did alone, what a neutral cleaner with the correct agitation device would do, and then we saw we'd just go straight 100 agitation. So now what we're going to do is do the opposite. Now we're going to go 100 chemistry. So when it comes to chemistry, now it's like, okay, if we're going to go a little stronger, and actually I'm ahead of myself. Okay, so now we're going to take it to another step. So now it's, okay, my neutral cleaner did a great job, but is the neutral cleaner the best solution to address what I'm trying to remove? In which case the answer is no. Your best product and your best solution for this would be a window cleaner because ammonia is what gets this off super easily. So if that's a piece of information that you already knew, then you would go straight to that as opposed to like a neutral cleaner, because a neutral cleaner doesn't have the surfactants it needs to help remove specifically marker like ammonia does, right? So then now your question is, okay, what do I have that might have ammonia? And chances are your window cleaner, unless it's a non-ammonia having window cleaner, but for the most part it is. So we have our Clean Story window cleaner, not available yet. Definitely want this at a dilution that's safe for everybody to use and can help you in scenarios like this. But this right here, this is a concentrated gallon. So I already created the dilution, proper dilution for window cleaner or something that you would use. But basically at this point, it's just a really good window cleaner, okay? And I'm gonna change towels. So I'm gonna keep, different towels separate so we can control all the variables that we can. So this is a window cleaner diluted. Now, what was it that it was this whole little corner right here that I did before. So let's go ahead and let's spray this. Look at that. It didn't operate any differently than the neutral cleaner did. So now if I do the same thing that I did with the neutral cleaner, I agitated with a red pad. I'll tell you what, with this agitation, this came off a lot easier than with the neutral cleaner. But with the agitation. Look at that. With the neutral cleaner, I had to come back and do some touch-ups. With this one, not really. And then you come and extract. Buff, dry side. Done. All right, so right there we just saw that a window cleaner did a better job than a neutral cleaner, but by very much. So then now it turns into a price point, right? When you go to the store and you get a window cleaner or neutral cleaner, which one costs more? So now it's just a matter of cost because they're both going to do pretty much what it is that you want them to do. You know, while I'd love for you to get this one, you know, the truth is if this is cheaper for what you got going on, then this isn't the one for you. This is. So now what we'll do on this side is I got another towel here, fresh towel. Now I'm just going to bump chemistry all the way. So we just tried every other variable. Now let's go with chemistry as much as we can. So right here we have concentrate. Go ahead and open it up so you can see that we haven't opened this one up yet. Boom. Got the cover on there. Let me get prepared. Now, as I'm getting prepared, things to take into consideration is now when you deal with a concentrate, you know, unless you're going to dilute it, that's another situation. But now you got to think about PPEs, you know, your personal protective equipment. You know, what are you going to use to, you know, separate yourself from absorbing these solutions in your skin? So this right here, this glove is pretty cool. You know, it's not great for getting wet up here, but over here prevents water from penetrating and hitting the skin, but still leaves it, you know, I can move around and I'm comfortable. So anyways, so now this right here, this you diluted at 39:1. So that's what's in here, and it's an amazing cleaner. So now I'm gonna go 100% on 1:31. So at this point, I'm just gonna grab my towel. So, you know, what you would do if you're in this situation, you put it in a spray bottle and then just spray it directly on there, but make sure that your eyes are good. You don't want any backsplash hitting your eyes. Okay, so all I did right here is I just put it directly on the towel. Now I'm just gonna go to any of these. Let's go to something I didn't do. All right, so basically that was just 100% concentrated without making any other changes, without changing dilutions, without anything else. Literally no agitation, no heat, straight chemistry. And you could see when you go at 100%, it'll come right off. Now, this 100% that you have going on over here, you could see that it still requires a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of moving, you know. So in a sense, you know, this towel is acting, you know, like an agitation device, right? So you would want to use a terry cloth in a sense because it helps push the product along. And again, this terry cloth has a little bit of texture, which is what's helping towards the agitation. So this is where you have these options when it comes to this, basically this quadrant of agitation, rinse, extraction, heat. And this is how you could play with it. So in this case right here, you could see that the quickest way to get this off is just by going 100%. But then when you go at 100%, you know, now it's a health thing, right? So you would have, you know, your gloves, your protective glove on. might have a mask so that you don't have to inhale or breathe that in at such a concentrated dilution. But again, right now we're just talking about straight ammonia on a window cleaner. It's not the deep cleaner or the daily cleaner at all. With those, you can go 100% concentrated and not have any issues. But in this particular sense, with ammonia, you absolutely want to have something to cover up. Another quick way, right? After we went ahead and devised it, if this was my project and I wanted to go ahead and get all of it off, I would probably just go revert back to the neutral cleaner again, because it does the job. Apply it and then agitate. Now this method is going to take a little bit longer than it would if you were to just go straight 100% product. But again, thinking about just health in mind, what it is that you're breathing in. See, it's going to require a little bit more work. But again, this product is not meant to remove it. It just simply can remove it with a little bit of elbow grease. Now let's go ahead and let's try the diluted window cleaner. See how much better that works. And you see, I'm doing less physical work right now using the window cleaner. If I go to a section down here that I haven't messed with, look at that. And you come back with your extraction device. In this case, it's a towel. And then at this point now you start doing some touch-ups. But you see, that's all it was. It was just a matter of understanding your different options, which ones to change a little bit, and take it from there. So with that said, hopefully you found this video helpful. I hope this information was helpful. If I lost you anywhere, please leave a message, leave a comment. I'll do my best to reply and or make more videos doing the exact same thing on something else. Let's say dishes. When you have food that's just stuck to the bottom of a pan, right? I mean, we all know how to get that off, but have you ever just played with the dilutions a little bit? Different insight. It's not so much about how aggressive you can scrub it. It's how to tweak heat, chemistry, agitation, rinse and extraction, and time. Time does play a factor. Just like time played a factor in this being, stuck to this whiteboard. Well, same thing if you let it sit, and which is what's referred to in our industry as dwell time. So dwell time, it's when you have a product sitting and just allowing it to just dwell so that it could go ahead and begin to loosen up whatever soil or other material that you're trying to separate from a surface. So anyways, thank you. Hope you found this video helpful. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. If you found this information helpful, please subscribe, share, comment, and I'll catch you on the next one.